It wasn't the thunderclap of a revelation, not a sudden blinding light, but a slow, insidious burn like a forgotten ember rekindled in the deepest, most shadowed corner of my soul. It started with the rain, a relentless drumming symphony against the attic window, mirroring the chaotic rhythm of my heart. I'd been up there amidst the dusty relics of a life I barely recognized, sorting through my grandmother's old journals, the pages brittle and yellowed, each word a ghost whispering secrets I wasn't sure I wanted to hear. Then he came, Liam, a storm himself, a whirlwind of hesitant smiles and eyes that held the weight of untold stories. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was my cousin's best friend, a figure I'd known peripherally, a distant star in a constellation that had always seemed too far away. He'd brought up a box of old photographs, a forgotten collection from a childhood we'd both shared yet never truly experienced together. We laughed, a nervous, brittle sound as we sifted through the faded images, each one a tiny portal to a past that felt both familiar and alien. And then it happened. He was leaning closer, pointing at a blurry picture of us as children, our hands almost touching, a silent promise etched in faded ink. "Remember that day?" he murmured, his voice a low, resonant hum against the storm's fierce symphony. I shook my head, my throat suddenly dry, the words lost in the sudden, suffocating silence. He traced the outline of my hand in the photograph, his fingers warm against the cool paper, and then he looked up. His eyes, a startling shade of green, held a question, a silent plea that made my breath catch in my throat. He leaned in slowly, deliberately, his lips brushing against mine, a feather-light touch that sent a jolt of electricity through my veins. It wasn't a kiss of passion, not yet, but a tentative exploration, a silent question whispered against my skin. The shock wasn't the kiss itself, but the sudden, undeniable realization that it felt like coming home. Like finding a missing piece of myself, a fragment I hadn't even known was lost. He pulled back, his eyes searching mine, a flicker of fear and hope battling within their depths. The attic, the rain, the forgotten photographs all faded into a blur, leaving only the echo of his touch, the silent promise of something more. I was supposed to be angry, confused, repulsed. But instead, a strange, unfamiliar warmth spread through me, a sense of belonging I'd never felt before. The twist. My grandmother's journal, the one I had been reading, had been about a forbidden love story, a story where the characters mirrored our own reality in ways I could not comprehend. It was as if she knew, or perhaps as if she was guiding us. The silence that followed was thick, heavy, charged with an unspoken energy that crackled between us. The rain continued its relentless assault, a constant, rhythmic backdrop to the chaos unfolding within me. Liam's eyes held mine, unwavering, searching for a reaction, a sign, anything. I wanted to speak, to break the suffocating tension, but the words were trapped, lost in the labyrinth of my swirling emotions. I finally managed a shaky breath, a whisper that barely escaped my lips. "Why?" I asked, the question hanging in the air, raw and vulnerable. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached for my hand, his fingers intertwining with mine, a gesture that felt both intimate and forbidden. "Because," he said, his voice low and husky, "because it felt right." The simplicity of his answer, the raw honesty in his eyes, shattered the carefully constructed walls I'd built around myself. It wasn't the answer I expected, not a grand declaration of love or a carefully rehearsed speech, but a simple, undeniable truth. And in that moment, amidst the dust and shadows of the attic, I understood. It did feel right. Not in a fleeting, impulsive way, but in a deep, visceral sense, like a long-lost puzzle piece finally clicking into place. The world outside, the expectations, the judgments, all faded away, leaving only the two of us, suspended in a moment of fragile intimacy. But then the floorboards creaked, a sharp, jarring sound that shattered the fragile silence. My cousin Sarah stood in the doorway, her eyes wide with shock, her face a mask of disbelief. The air crackled with tension, the unspoken accusations hanging heavy in the air. Sarah, who was always so supportive, so open-minded, now looked at us with a mixture of confusion and betrayal. Her presence, a stark reminder of the world we were about to face, brought a wave of fear crashing over me. We had been so caught up in our own little world, we had forgotten the reality of the world around us. She stammered, I don't understand." Liam tightened his grip on my hand, his touch a silent reassurance, a promise that we wouldn't face this alone. Then another twist, my grandmother's journal, the one where I had been reading, had a page dedicated to Sarah. She was the one who was supposed to understand, to be the ally, the confidant. A line in the journal, written in my grandmother's shaky hand, read, "The one who bears witness must also bear the burden of truth." That changed everything. Sarah's reaction, her shock, now felt like a test, a trial we were destined to face. Sarah's silence stretched, an agonizing eternity punctuated only by the relentless drumming of the rain. The air in the attic grew thick, heavy with unspoken questions and unspoken fears. I could feel Liam's hand trembling in mine, a silent echo of the turmoil raging within me. Finally, Sarah spoke, her voice a low, strained whisper. "How long?" she asked, her eyes fixed on our intertwined hands. The question, so simple, so direct, felt like a physical blow. I didn't know how to answer. How could I explain a feeling that had blossomed in the space of a heartbeat, a connection that defied logic and reason? Liam answered for me, his voice steady, resolute. "It doesn't matter how long," he said, his eyes meeting Sarah's. "It matters that it's real." His words hung in the air, a declaration of truth that resonated with a power I hadn't known he possessed. Sarah's expression softened, a flicker of understanding replacing the initial shock. But then a shadow of doubt crossed her face, a reminder of the world outside, the judgments and prejudices that awaited us. What about everyone else?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. "What about your family, my family?" The weight of her words settled upon us, a crushing burden of societal expectations and familial obligations. We had been so focused on the intensity of our connection, we had forgotten the ripple effect, the chaos that our truth would unleash. I looked at Liam, his eyes filled with a mixture of love and defiance. He squeezed my hand, a silent promise that we would face this together, whatever the cost. Then the twist deepened. From the corner of my eye, I noticed a faded photograph tucked into the pages of my grandmother's journal. It was a picture of Sarah, younger, perhaps a teenager, holding hands with another girl, a picture that spoke volumes about her own hidden struggles, her own unspoken truths. It was a secret she had kept hidden, a secret that now held the key to our own liberation. The journal also had a passage about Sarah's childhood, revealing a deep understanding and empathy that she kept buried deep inside. This wasn't just about our love, it was about confronting the hidden truths that bound us all, the secrets that kept us trapped in a cycle of fear and denial. The twist became a challenge, a silent call to courage. The rain outside intensified, a dramatic crescendo that mirrored the storm within us. We had a choice: to hide in the shadows, to conform to the expectations of a world that didn't understand, or to step into the light, to embrace our truth, and to face the consequences together. The silence that followed Sarah's question was a suffocating blanket, heavy with the weight of unspoken fears and the looming specter of societal judgment. Liam's hand, still intertwined with mine, offered a silent, unwavering anchor amidst the turbulent sea of emotions threatening to drown me. I looked at him, searching for a flicker of doubt, a hint of retreat, but his eyes held only unwavering resolve, a silent promise that we would face this storm together. He finally broke the silence, his voice low and steady. "We can't live a lie, Sarah," he said, his words echoing through the dusty attic. "Not anymore." His words, simple yet profound, resonated with a raw honesty that pierced through the layers of fear and uncertainty. Sarah's gaze shifted between us, her expression a complex tapestry of concern, confusion, and a flicker of reluctant understanding. She knew deep down that we were right. She had witnessed the raw, undeniable connection between us, a connection that transcended the boundaries of societal norms and expectations. But the fear, the ingrained fear of judgment and rejection, still held her captive. She hesitated, her voice trembling slightly as she spoke. But what about your parents, my parents? They won't understand. They'll. Her voice trailed off, the unspoken words hanging heavy in the air, a chilling reminder of the potential consequences of our truth. I felt a surge of anger, a fierce protectiveness towards Liam, towards our love. We shouldn't have to hide, to apologize for who we were. We shouldn't have to live in fear of being judged for loving each other. I took a deep breath, my voice trembling slightly as I spoke. "Then we'll make them understand," I said, my words laced with a newfound determination. "We'll show them that love is love, regardless of gender, regardless of what anyone else thinks." My words hung in the air, a defiant declaration of our truth, a challenge to the world that dared to judge us. Then the twist deepened. As I looked at Sarah, I said, "And you, Sarah, you will help us, you know how it feels." I then showed her the photo from my grandmother's journal. I showed her the passage about her childhood. The look in her eyes changed from concern to understanding. She understood the fear, the need to hide, the pain of being different. The journal revealed that she had lived through similar feelings and had a deep understanding of our situation. It was not just about understanding, but about empathy, about shared experience. She had the power, the understanding, to be our ally, our protector. The journal also revealed that our grandmother had written about a secret meeting place, a place where people who were different could find solace and support. It was a place that had been hidden for generations, a place that could offer us sanctuary. We knew that this journey would be difficult, but we were no longer alone. We had each other, and we had the hidden truth of our grandmother's journal, a guide, a shield, and a weapon against the world that sought to tear us apart. The revelation of Sarah's hidden past, the secret etched in the faded photograph, and the whispered words of my grandmother's journal shifted the atmosphere in the attic from one of tense confrontation to a fragile alliance. The shared vulnerability, the unspoken understanding that we were all carrying burdens, created a bond that transcended the initial shock and confusion. Sarah's eyes, once filled with apprehension, now held a flicker of newfound resolve. She looked at us, her gaze unwavering, and said, "We'll do it together." Her words, simple yet powerful, echoed through the dusty space, a promise of solidarity in the face of adversity. The rain outside continued its relentless symphony, a constant reminder of the storm we were about to face, but now we were no longer alone. We had each other, and we had the secrets of my grandmother's journal, a guide and a weapon against the world that dared to judge us. We decided to find the secret meeting place mentioned by my grandmother, a place where we could find support and strength. Leaving the attic, we descended into the house, a house that now felt like a battleground. We knew that the coming days would be filled with difficult conversations, with tears and anger, with the potential for rejection and heartbreak. But we also knew that we had to be true to ourselves, to our love, to the connection that had blossomed in the most unexpected of places. We found the secret place, a hidden room behind a bookshelf, a place that felt like a sanctuary, a place where others like us had found solace. The journal revealed that the purpose of this place was to give strength to those that were considered different and to give them the tools to face the world. The twist, the final shattering twist, came when we found a final entry in my grandmother's journal. It wasn't a story or a memory, but a letter addressed to me and to Liam. In it, she revealed that she had known all along. She had seen the unspoken connection between us, the silent language of our eyes, the subtle gestures of affection that we thought we had kept hidden. She wrote, "The day he kissed you, I knew you were meant to be together. I've lived a life of secrets and regrets, but I refuse to let you make the same mistakes. Love is a gift, a rare and precious thing, and it should be cherished, not hidden," she knew. She had orchestrated the meeting, the photographs, the journal, all of it to guide us towards our truth. The final words of her letter resonated with a profound and heartbreaking clarity. "Live your truth, my dears, and never apologize for loving each other. The day he kissed me, I knew we were meant to be together. She knew it too long before we did."